What's up, everybody? My name is OMG WTF LOLF2W BRB, and welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, not 2020. I know. You're all like, OMG, God, it's 2022, and you haven't even gotten 2020. I know. I don't want to hear about it. I literally never hear about it. Anyway, welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWE in the year 2002. This is Season 2 of the Invasion angle. Of course, Season 2 is the brand era, as I'm sure we're all aware by now. Technically, the WWE won the war. Linda McMahon put a kibosh on that, saying that the WWE needs competition, and WCW will live on in Nitro, as now we have the brands of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Nitro. Speaking of Friday Night Nitro, that's tonight. So, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get started with that. Technically, I guess this is a go-home show, but not really. It is the show before a pay-per-view. Well, actually, I guess technically, if you want to get technical here, we're saying that word a lot now, that would be Sunday Night Heat. But nonetheless, even though SummerSlam is a Monday Night Raw exclusive pay-per-view, Friday Night Nitro, as always, Shane McMahon is going to try to make sure everyone's talking about Nitro and not SummerSlam. Always going to try to upstage his father. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and start this show, shall we? Yes, I think we shall. All right, we do have a couple of pre-show matchups, starting off with a 40D minus rating and a pre-show bout that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Ron Waterman of Sunday Night Heat fame taking on Tatanka and beating Tatanka in 5 minutes 54 seconds. Apparently a pretty vocal crowd was not particularly thrilled to see Tatanka wrestle tonight. That's interesting. I feel like I've brought in Tatanka before and he didn't get that reaction, but I don't know, maybe he's going downhill, or I don't know. That's interesting, though. I would think it'd be more for Ron Waterman, but nonetheless, trying to get Ron Waterman a little bit of momentum behind him, a little bit more popularity, and it's always promising to see him actually outperform not only his opponent, but the rating. Ron Waterman with an in-ring performance of a 42 here, Tatanka with a 37. Any worker improvements? Unfortunately not. Real quick, I want to go ahead and let's look at Ron Waterman here real quick. He's got star quality. His morale's good. That's awesome. Well-booked segment. You love to hear that. Overwhelmed by manager. So I have Hardcore Holly with Ron Waterman, but I don't know. It seems like that dulls him. Interesting. I've never seen that before. Anyway, moving on to our main event of the pre-show. We have the High Rollers, Easy Money, Reno, and Gail Kim out here doing a quick little pre-match promo before their upcoming tag team matchup. Of course, the High Rollers are currently feuding with Diamond Dallas Page and Sting to an extent here. Mostly Diamond Dallas Page. And if you remember a couple weeks back, or maybe it was last week, I don't know. Whatever Nitro it was, because let's be honest, I don't know why I'm even saying weeks back. Like, it's been like a week or two since our last Nitro. Nonetheless, though, last time we saw these two, they were, last time we saw them in action at least. I don't know. Pretty much, it's been a while since we've seen them, I suppose. I don't even know where I'm going on. I'm rambling on right here. Nonetheless, storyline is DDP versus the High Rollers. Last time in the feud, we saw a tag team matchup with Diamond Dallas Page and Sting, which technically they did end up winning, but it was the High Rollers that ended up walking away after that matchup, after they got the jump on the two WCW legends. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time getting this out. Anyway, 63 solid C rating for the pre-match promo. I took longer than the actual probably pre-match promo took. All right, moving on in our main event of the pre-show, 39D minus rating, and a pre-show bout that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. The High Rollers, Easy Money, and Reno defeated the team of acid drop, two of our developmental talents who are actually in a legit team. I guess the developmental company put them together, so why the hell not? Chance Beckett and Tony Kozinia. After Easy Money defeated Chance Beckett by a pinfall after 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Beckett was the weak link, unfortunately. That's unfortunate for him. Tony Kozinia, whatever. He was really off his game here tonight. That's unfortunate. Gale doing some good work ringside. Tony had an in-ring performance of a 37. Chance Beckett with a 21. He's not too bad, that Tony Kozinia? I don't know. Reno with an in-ring performance of a 49. Easy Money with a 49. And Chance Beckett improving in his performance. Good for him. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's start off Friday Night Nitro. We open up with a 99 A-star rating. You love to see it. Nitro opens up right away with the music of Booker T. Can you dig it, sucker? Do. Anyway, he makes his way down to the ring. Stevie Ray and co. Of course, Stevie Ray, Dusty Rhodes, and Mike Tenay, the color commentary team, recap last week's number one contendership match, which saw Booker T defeat Ric Flair to become the number one contender to Scott Steiner's World Heavyweight Championship. That was a mouthful. And once in the ring, Booker T takes to the mic. Oh boy, I'm going to need a drink for this one. Hold on. Booker T. For one, my Booker T is horrendous. Sorry, the microphone might have been a little away from my mouth there. My Booker T might be my worst impersonation. Might be. And, yeah, here we go. Tell me y'all saw what happened last week. I say, tell me y'all saw what happened last week. Yeah, that's right. They say to beat a man, you've got to beat the man. Well, I beat the man, and now I'm the man, sucker! And that means I'm now the number one contender. All right, yeah. I don't know why I did that macho. Oh, yeah. I'm now the number one contender, and there's only one thing left to do. My Booker T starts off good, and it just goes, I feel. And there's only one thing left to do, and that's beat Scott Steiner's punk ass and take back my World Heavyweight Championship and become the five-time World Heavyweight Champion. I think it would be 5-time. I should have checked that before I actually wrote that in the promo, but, I think he's only 4-time as of right now. Nonetheless, in fact, I know SummerSlam ain't our party. But I say, let's get this party started early. I ain't waiting till King of the Ring. I want my title shot, and I want it tonight. Scott Steiner, get your sucker ass out here, and let's settle this. Unless Big Papa Pump has Tiny Tim's testicles. Oh boy. A few moments pass after I'd imagine the fans kind of chant Tiny Tim's testicles or Tiny Testicles or, just something like that. Mocking Scott Steiner. Anyway, a few moments pass before finally Scott Steiner comes storming out. No music even playing. Scott Steiner just comes storming out. Shane McMahon is attempting to hold him back, but Scott Steiner is furious. And he takes to the mic. What the hell did you just say? You must be looking for an ass whooping because you're pushing the right buttons. And I assure you, Big Papa Pump is packing a Big Papa Pump. Just go ask your girlfriend. I heard she's pregnant. Let me know when to expect the child support check, punk. Booker T now, a little pissed off as well. He brought his girlfriend in here, his future child. Of course, his girlfriend is Charmel. We'll get to that in just a moment. Booker T now takes to the mic. You better be ready to fight after saying that. It ain't about that damn title anymore. You gonna made it personal. I'm gonna beat your ass, Steiner. You want a fight, Book? You want your damn title shot? Shane McMahon trying to, be the calm mind here. Scott, come on, man. Don't do this. Not tonight. Shut up, Shane. You don't tell me what to do. You want your match, Book? Fine. You're on. You and me. Tonight we end this. But Book, after I beat your ass tonight, we're through. I don't ever want to see your face again so long as I hold this championship. You know, that's fine by me, Scott, because after tonight, you won't be holding that title. Now, can you dig that? Don't you say it, sucker! Boom. Opening segment out of the way. Big news just announced. Sorry if I blew out your eardrums there, guys. I got a little loud. But nonetheless, big match just announced tonight. The World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as it'll be Booker T versus Scott Steiner in the main event. Anyway, moving on. All Elite Wrestling, the company that Stephanie McMahon just recently opened up, has hired the talents of Laura Matano. I don't think I spelled that right. Jesus Castillo Jr., Joe Hempel, Jason Knight, and the Warrior. Also, as Scott Steiner mentioned in his promo, that Booker T's girlfriend is pregnant. Now, I don't believe that Scott Steiner had sexual relations with Booker T's wife or girlfriend. But anyway, he did mention, though, that Booker T's wife or girlfriend, I keep saying wife, is pregnant. And, Booker T and Charmel, his real-life wife, that's why I keep making that mistake, are expecting. So she will be taking time off here. And then we got a couple of emails. Fuck. That's Scott Steiner voice. Or not that Scott's. Both of them, actually. Booker T and Scott Steiner's voice. Anyway, we got a couple of emails after Raw went off the air. Goldberg tells me that Rikishi doesn't connect with the fans and that we should probably write him off. And Kevin Nash says that Eric Angle has poor ring psychology. I know. And he's probably not worth keeping around. I know. But I like a good challenge. Anyway, Booker T unfortunately did not do well without a script to follow. That's unfortunate. Scott Steiner improvised well. Unfortunately, Stevie Ray was pretty weak on the announce desk here. Got the show off to a strong start. Golly, hold on. I need to take a drink. Those killed me. I got a little loud, though, too, so. Got this mic, right up to my damn mouth, so it doesn't help that I'm, shouting in your guys' ear. Anyway, Angle got the show off to a strong start. Crowd was hot. Steiner came across well. Gained heat for the feud. You love to see it. We move on to our next segment, just a basic generic segment here, hyping up the fact that, yes, we have 2 title matches here tonight and a number 1 contendership match tonight, all on Nitro. We're bringing the heat to SummerSlam, baby. Booker T takes on Scott Steiner for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge and Lance Storm team up to take on Hugh Morris and Kanyon, if Kanyon even shows up, and that'll be for the number 1 contendership to the tag team titles. But coming up next, the Cruiserweight Championship is on the line as number 1 contender Jerry Lynn, who beat Dean Malenko, Billy Kidman, and Chavo Guerrero, I believe, on the last Nitro to win the number 1 contendership. He will be taking on champion Rey Mysterio next. Nothing specific to be said here. 77 solid B for that. No, agreed to do that. 78 solid B rating as, during the commercial break, things got a little heated here as we have a little bit of a freestyle segment. As during the commercial break, Scott and Rick Steiner made their way down to the ring and kind of crowded crowded Stevie Ray. And, let's just say, unfortunately, Stevie Ray got a blunt beating from the Steiner brothers here, and unfortunately Booker T was not able to make it out here in time before Stevie Ray took a pretty nasty beating from the Steiner brothers during the commercial break, of course, and it looks like Stevie Ray will be taken to the hospital, unfortunately. Booker T getting better at his gimmick. Unfortunately, that did lose some heat for the feud. As we move on to our next segment here, and now we join, this says during the commercial break, but I'd imagine that that it was more Stevie Ray getting beaten down, and this is now, we're joining Mean Gene backstage, who has caught up with Booker T as he sees his brother Stevie Ray off into the ambulance that will take him to the medical facility. Booker I know you've got a million things on your mind right now. No, let's talk. Let's talk Scott Steiner, Gene. All right, let's. He is a man who will sink as low as he can and try to get in my mind. And you know why? It's because I'm in his mind, Gene. Scott Steiner knows his days are numbered as world heavyweight champion. He's got hours. And he's doing whatever he can to extend his time with the big gold belt. But you know what, Mean Gene? All he's managed to do is piss me off. Going after my family, my brother, my unborn child. He's crossed the line, Gene. And tonight, I'm gonna beat that fool. Or I'm gonna die trying. Booker T means business. Back to you guys. Again, lost heat for the feud. That is a bit unfortunate, but I'm sure that's, it's still not too bad. 61 solid C rating as we get a quick little recap on Jerry. Oh, I was like, Jerry wins what? Jerry Lynn's win from the, like I mentioned, the fatal four-way match that we saw that took place between Jerry Lynn, Dean Malenko, Billy Kidman, and Chavo Guerrero Jr., which saw Lynn become the number one contender. And the title match is next. That was a weird way I positioned that, I'll be honest. I don't even know why I put that there. All right. 71 B- rating, and about that had decent wrestling, but didn't have much weight and heat. Jerry Lynn defeats Rey Mysterio Jr. in 12 minutes, 53 seconds by submission with the cross arm breaker submission, and Jerry Lynn becomes the new Cruiserweight Champion. Jerry Lynn had an in-ring performance of a 57. Rey Mysterio with a 68. Lynn, the new Cruiserweight Champion here tonight. I can't speak. Will that be a sign of things to come, is what I'm trying to say. We already saw one new champion. Will we see two? All right. 77 solid B rating as Dean Malenko joins Jerry Lynn, his tag team partner, his compadre, his brother, in the middle of the ring and celebrates Jerry Lynn's Cruiserweight Championship win before just turning on Jerry Lynn, beating down the new Cruiserweight Champion, locking him in the Texas Cloverleaf. And then as Lynn just kind of lays there selling his injuries, Dean Malenko grabs the Cruiserweight Championship, shoving it in his face, telling him it was supposed to be me and all that crap. So Dean Malenko definitely none too happy that Jerry Lynn is now the Cruiserweight Champion. He wanted to be the serious change for the Cruiserweight division, not Jerry Lynn. Lynn was just supposed to help him get there. But along with Dean Malenko beating up Jerry Lynn, that has allowed the fans to now, I'd imagine, after seeing a good match between him and Rey Mysterio Jr., where Lynn beat Rey Mysterio clean, didn't cheat or nothing, beat him clean in the middle of the ring. Fans were like, wow, Jerry Lynn, he's not too bad. He's actually pretty good. And then seeing this, they're like, wow, what an ass. Jerry Lynn has, well, that's unfortunate, has turned. He is now a face. He's changed his gimmick to a machine. Unfortunately, that got a below-average rating, but it was a complete success. Jerry Lynn is now a babyface. Gained heat for the feud as well. So we move on to our next segment here. 97 A-star rating as we send it back to Mean Gene. Well, my guest at this time needs no introduction, but I'm going to try. Joining me now is the pie-eating, eyebrow-raising, elbow-dropping, people's champion, The Rock. Hey, not bad there, Mean Gene. Not bad. Not bad yourself, Rock. I'm sure you've heard the news tonight, tragic, about Stevie Ray, but tonight Booker T faces Scott Steiner with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. You're damn right. The Rock has heard the news, Mean Gene. Everyone in the DC Verizon Center has heard the news, and The Rock honestly could give a damn about Booker T or Scott Steiner or who wins that match. The Rock is sorry, he's not sorry, but the fact of the matter is The Rock doesn't like Scott Steiner, and The Rock don't like Booker T's candy ass either. Because you see, Mean Gene, The Rock doesn't forget, and The Rock remembers the war he went through with Booker T not too long ago. But let The Rock tell you one thing, Booker. The Rock's got a present for you tonight, because you won't have to worry about Rick Steiner and his overbite tonight. And why's that? And that's when Rock Steiner. That's when The Rock puts on like an Elmer Fudd style hat, and he begins mimicking, of course, the Looney Tune character. Well, that's because it's Steiner season. Let me pull up my handy-dandy notepad here. In fact, and The Rock motions for the camera to follow him before they stop at the corner. Rock takes a peek around the corner before turning to Gene and the camera. Crikey, there's a big one, mate. And just the one we're looking for. That's when Rock rushes around the corner, jumps Rick Steiner from behind, and a brawl begins between the two around the locker room area until, of course, Shane McMahon and Stephanie are there. Or Stephanie, what am I saying? Shane McMahon and Stacy are there, as you can see, but they run off. Big brawl between Rock and Rick Steiner. They're using everything they can find. They're in the locker room area, so probably catering, random boxes, ladders, chairs, all the sorts of stuff that you find in a locker room, Maybe some people's luggage. And unfortunately, we got a big brawl going on between Rick Steiner and The Rock here, and we didn't get to see the end of it, though, because unfortunately, The Rock was pushed into the cameraman, and the feed is lost. But we're going to try to catch up with that a little later on if we can get another camera back there. Nonetheless, apparently it deserved better announcing, but got the crowd hotter. Rock was fantastic, and it gained heat for the Battle of the Nitro storyline. And now we got two big mofos battling around the arena right now. Rock and Rick Steiner going at it. That won't be the last we see them, I promise you that. Apparently I didn't press the button. 75 B- rating as we are backstage. Lance Storm is preparing for the upcoming #1 contendership match when his partner Edge approaches him. Storm looks at him. What do you want? Edge responds. All right, look, man. I know we've never seen eye to eye. And I know you don't like me, and I'm not even sure I like you. But somehow, some way, we have found ourselves not enemies, but as partners. And while we make good opponents, we make a damn good team. So I still can't talk. So I say let's put everything behind us, and let's go out there, and let's kick some ass. As messed up as it sounds, let's bring an end to the friendship of Kanyon and Hugh Moore so the friendship between Edge and Lance Storm can blossom. Edge extends his hand to Lance Storm before Storm looks at it and kind of looks back up at Edge, and he just gets up. Just stay out of my way. And he walks off from Edge, leaving him there. Didn't even shake the man's hand. Will these two be able to get along here tonight? Is Kanyon going to even show up? Are they going to win by forfeit? I don't know. We move on to the next segment. Speaking of Charmel, let's send it back to her, who she's going to be joined by the Giant. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me at this time, the Giant. Giant, tonight, you'll be facing Eddie Guerrero per request of Mr. Guerrero after you attacked him last week. Oh, and like he's innocent? Let's not forget that if it wasn't for that little pipsqueak, I'd be the World Heavyweight Champion right now. Well, one could say that you cost Eddie his world title shot when you attacked him backstage to take him out of the tournament. I don't like your tone there, Missy. Let's face it, I did Eddie a favor. I saved him from the embarrassment of competing and failing on the big stage. And what's he do to repay me? He's taking it personal because he thought he had a chance. Well, tonight, I'll show you and I'll show Eddie. He never stood a chance. Well, Giant means business. He's going to get his hand on Latino Heat tonight. And I feel bad for Latino Heat. Speaking of which, we go to that match. It's next. Solid 80 B rating here, and about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Eddie Guerrero pulls off the upset by beating the Giant in 9 minutes, 54 seconds by disqualification. And I think you all know where this is going. Eddie, of course, the referee, is maybe a bit distracted by Chavo Guerrero or something. Chavo is yelling at the referee that the Giant is going to hit Eddie with a chair or something. But suspiciously enough, the Giant don't have a chair. It's Eddie who has a chair. And instead of hitting the Giant with the chair, Eddie smacks the ground and throws the chair to the Giant, falls to the ground, or I should say the canvas, acts like he was hit by the steel chair. The referee, who hears the chair shot and turns around, sees the Giant holding the chair, sees Eddie on the ground. Chavo, meanwhile, is yelling in his ear, "See, I told you! I told you!" And, well, even though the Giant was trying to explain that I didn't do that, I didn't do this, the referee has no choice but calls for the bell, leading to a Eddie Guerrero victory over the Giant. Eddie had an in-ring performance of a 75. The Giant with an 86. Wow, that's impressive. Gained heat for the feud there. Eddie's improving in his performance, as is the Giant. As we move on to our next segment, being of a freestyle segment here, I figured I can explain it on my own. 75 B- rating here. The Giant is furious, grabs Eddie, who's still on the ground, by the throat and goes to pick him up, but Chavo slides in the ring, smacks the Giant in the back with the chair. Giant, of course, sells it a little bit, but then looks back and sees a frightened Chavo with the chair, who is, trying to explain himself. I didn't do this and all that. He gets down on his knees. He's begging. And as the Giant gets a little closer, Chavo hits a low blow on the Giant. Giant, of course, grabs his giant balls and sells the fact that he's now been pretty much ball tapped. Meanwhile, Eddie Guerrero, who is now down on his knees behind the Giant, just sitting there waiting as Chavo Guerrero pops up, pushes the Giant with all his might. The Giant falls on his ass over Eddie Guerrero. And Eddie and Chavo get out of the ring as the Giant is furious at the fact that the Guerreros, Los Guerreros, have made him look like a fool tonight. Not only by costing him this match, making it seem like he used the chair when he didn't, but making him trip over his own left feet. And followed up with a nice little hit to the balls. Never a good sign for the Giant. 75 B- rating for the angle. Moving on, 75 B- rating for this angle as we are backstage in the gorilla position as Hugh Moore stands there pacing back and forth. Mean Gene standing nearby. I'm sure he'll show up, Hugh. Well, you know what, Gene? I'm not holding my breath. A little bit of in the background, we hear one of the roadies or whatever. 5 minutes, Hugh. You know, I might as well go out there and hand in the towel, Gene, because I'm going to end up having the forfeit, and I don't want to have to do that. Don't hand him that towel, Gene, because Kanyon is here. Well, look who decided to show up. Look, Hugh, I know I should have told you, but I needed some time. I needed the time to think things through, evaluate where my career was going, and I realized that I don't have a career without you. You helped reinvigorate my career, and I owe it all to you, Hugh. It was wrong for me to abandon you, and I just want to say, I'm sorry, bud. Now let's go out there, let's beat Edge and Lance Storm, and then let's get our tag team titles back. Come on, put it there, pal. Do you forgive me? Hugh stares at Kanyon, kind of in disbelief, like, is this guy serious right now? Before kind of shaking his head and being like, you know what? Shakes Canyon's hand. Let's do this, partner. Let's do this. And Kanyon shows up at the last minute. He's here. 75 B- rating. We move on. Oh, hold on. Before we can get to the match, during the commercial break, a 77 solid B rating took place as The Rock and Rick Steiner continued their brawl. We didn't really get cameras backstage because we didn't need them. They brawled throughout the crowd. Rock and Rick Steiner brawling through the crowd. We have a little bit, popcorn, soda being thrown. Maybe even a fan getting a punch in or two. I'd hope security would stop them, but I'd imagine maybe Rock allowing a fan or maybe a little kid getting a little punch in or something. Rick can handle it. Just hitting them with everything they can find in the crowd until, of course, they leave the crowd, and we're trying to get cameras on them once again, but we're having a hard time finding them at the moment. They're brawling somewhere. They're fighting, though. They're fighting. Lost heat for the storyline. That's a bit unfortunate. 76 B- rating. As before our number one contendership match can take place, the tag team champions Chris Jericho and Christian make their way down to the ring and join color commentary. We do have an open seat here tonight, obviously. Stevie Ray, unfortunately, was taken out earlier tonight, so Chris Jericho is going to take his place. Unfortunately, TEW will not allow me to add 4 people to an announce team, which is probably wise, because 4-man booth is just annoying. 76 B- rating for this very generic angle. No, we're good. All right, number one contendership for the Tag Team Championships, 82 solid B rating, and about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Lance Storm and Edge pull off the upset, you could say, and defeat the former Tag Team Champions and the returning Kanyon and Hugh Morris in 14 minutes, 25 seconds when Edge catches Kanyon off guard with the spear. 1, 2, 3. Lance Storm and Edge, the, unorthodox and, let's be honest, random pairing of the two former enemies here, now forced to be partners, I guess, in a way. I guess they're not forced, but nonetheless, the team you wouldn't expect to win wins. And the way I'd imagine this happening here is maybe Kanyon getting a little upset with Hugh, not doing too good or something. Tags himself in, is kind of yelling at Hugh, let me show you how to do it, blah, blah, blah. Gets, maybe Edge or Lance Storm gets the tag in the Edge, and we get kind of like that hot tag thing. Edge is waiting for Kanyon to turn around. Spear, 1, 2, 3. New number one contenders. Apparently, though, we have something interesting here. Chris Jericho and Dusty Rhodes work extremely well at the announce table. I don't know if we knew that already, but that's pretty cool. Kanyon foreshadowed a heel turn in this segment. I mean, he was kind of bossy towards Hugh during the whole match, telling him, you're messing things up. Come on, Hugh, let me show you how to do it. And unfortunately, that's what ended up costing them that match. Edge had an in-ring performance of an 87. Lance Storm with a 73. Kanyon with an 87. And Hugh Morris with a 72. No work. Oh, no, we do have some worker improvements. I spoke too soon. Hugh Morris improving in his performance. And we move on to our next segment here. 73 B- rating. Unfortunately, it did lose heat for the storyline. But Hugh Morris goes over the Kanyon, helps him up, kind of is like telling him, like, are you ready to work with me? Blah, blah, blah. Like, are we partners or not? Blah, blah, blah. And Kanyon, like, you're right. I'm sorry. It's my bad, blah, blah, blah. Hugh, they shake hands. Hugh goes to leave the ring. Unfortunately, Canyon's not going to let him leave the ring. Jumps Hugh Morris from behind. Beats down on Hugh. Eventually hits him with the Kanyon cutter, and he's just screaming at him, you ain't better than Kanyon. No one's better than Kanyon. No one is better than Kanyon. Leaving his former partner laying there as Chris Kanyon officially turns heel. He got an average rating for his, it's kind of a gimmick change. It's the same gimmick, but now he's a heel. And a complete success. Chris Kanyon is now a heel. By the way, I feel like I should comment on this a little bit. Real quick, I want to kind of talk Chris Kanyon here a little bit. I'm sure we all saw the dark side of the ring. He led a very tragic, interesting life nonetheless. And Kanyon is one of those guys that this save especially has not only introduced me to, but made me a fan of him. I remember early on when I started the Invasion series, Kanyon, I was pushing Kanyon. Well, not really pushing him, but I was using Kanyon. I was using everyone I can. I wanted to build up the WCW guys. Kanyon being, of course, one of the WCW guys. I was building him up a little bit. I didn't know who Kanyon was. I didn't really watch a lot of WCW. I was the WWF kid, so I knew who Hugh Morris was because he's Bill DeMott's, but I didn't really know who Kanyon was, and I don't know what it was about him. I don't know if he looked British or what, but I kind of gave him a bit of a British accent, and I was called out for that. Someone in the comment section was like, why is he giving him the British accent? And the other person was like, I guess it's because he has a lack of knowledge of who he actually is. And I took that a little, to heart, because it's true. I didn't know who Kanyon was, and if I'm going to be booking these guys, I should probably get a little bit of knowledge, at least to how they sound and how they're presented and whatnot. So, go and I'll watch a little bit of Kanyon on on the network and whatnot, and I became a fan. Kanyon was great. He was fantastic in the ring. He was entertaining. Unfortunately, he wasn't too great during his WWE run, and he wasn't really given much of a chance, in my opinion. But yeah, I became a big fan of Chris Kanyon to the point where he's probably one of my, like, maybe top 10, I would say. I don't know. I've never really actually tried to list my favorite wrestlers. My favorite wrestler of all time is Triple H. I'm a big fan of Raven, Diamond Dallas Page. It's always kind of been like the three. But, I've also got a very unorthodox list. I know a lot of people hate X-Pac. I'm a huge fan of X-Pac. I love Sean Waltman. I think he's a fantastic wrestler. I love D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown actually I might like him more than Diamond Dallas Page. And Canyon's up there. I love Chris Kanyon. I think he was awesome. And I kind of wanted to share that, guys, with you, share that with you guys. Because if it wasn't for this series, I probably wouldn't have known who Chris Kanyon was until I watched The Dark Side of the Ring. But this series opened the door for me to learn about people like Chris Kanyon. And I'm sure there's other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head. But Canyon's always been one of the guys that's really stuck out to me because he's a guy I didn't even really know anything about. I literally didn't know anything about when I first started this series, to the point where I didn't even know how he sounded, and I gave him a British accent when he has a New York accent. And then I learned about him. I watched some of his matches, what he did on WCW, and I became an instant fan. And now not only is he, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time probably, but he's one of my favorite people to book in this save too, because he's just so damn good in this save as well. So I don't know. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys. 90 solid A rating here as we have our final brawl segment of the night. Again, a little bit of a freestyle segment. I realize I don't have to write everything out because, it's a little bit more detailed, but segments like this, like a brawl, I don't need to be like, oh, and Rick Steiner picks up a fan, and maybe not like when I say fan, I meant like, like a fan that makes you cooler, not like you're an actual person. I was looking around my room, and the first thing I saw was my fan, and then as I said it, I was like, they just brawled in the crowd. Maybe not say hit him with a fan. But, like, oh, he picks up such and such object and hits him with that. I don't really need to say that. We understand what a brawl is. We've all seen wrestling or watched wrestling, so we all know what a generic pretty much brawl is. Just imagine the scenery they're in, like, when I mentioned they were in the hallway, like the locker room area, they're hitting each other with, stuff that you find in the backstage area that WWE leaves laying around and stuff like that. They're in the crowd, so I'd imagine, them picking up some of the fans handing them, sodas and popcorns and stuff like that. And I'd imagine maybe like letting a little kid, hit Rick Steiner or something. Maybe not someone who can actually hurt him, but a little kid who get a little love tap or something that really wouldn't hurt him. Something like that. They brawl around the crowd, and then now they're in the parking lot right now, and they're brawling in the parking lot. So, you see maybe trash cans, they're throwing each other on the cars, using their surroundings to their advantage. Eventually, Rick Steiner maybe picks up like a tire iron or something, hits The Rock in the gut, gets in a car, drives, like maybe he gets the tire iron from his car, like he finds his car, is able to unlock it, gets the tire iron, hits The Rock in the gut, gets in his car, drives away. The Rock, of course, finds the first person he can who's in his car, pulls him out of it, says he's borrowing this or something, and chases after him. So The Rock and Rick Steiner are now in vehicles chasing after each other. And, I imagine that we're going to have a bail to do or something here tonight, because I can't imagine that neither of these men are not going to get a ticket if they're on the road. Nonetheless, 90 solid A rating here as The Rock and Rick Steiner brawl throughout the parking lot until Rick Steiner drives away. And I guess Rock did keep his promise to Booker T. Rick Steiner ain't going to be a problem here tonight. He's too busy driving on the highway now, trying to get away from The Rock, who's chasing after him. Rock came out looking excellent. No negative thing for the storyline. It just advanced that, and no worker improvements. We move on to our next segment as we send it backstage to Sharmell once again, who is being joined by the World Heavyweight Champion. 76 B- rating. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me at this time, the World Heavyweight Champion, Scott Steiner. How you doing, sugar cakes? Sharmell's got a bit of a disgusted look to her here. Scott, coming up next, you'll be defending your championship against fan favorite Booker T. For the first and last time, I'll add, and who cares if he's a fan favorite? I'm Big Papa Pump. I'm the big booty daddy. My muscles have muscles on them. And not to add, I'm the world heavyweight champion. And that's not changing tonight. If Booker T thinks he's going to go home with a feel-good story for his pregnant girlfriend, because that's not going to happen. In fact, he's not even going home tonight. After I'm done with his girlfriend... What? Oh, after I'm done with his girlfriend... What the hell was I trying to say here? Okay, I think I meant to say him, not his. That's why I was confused. After I'm done with him, his girlfriend isn't going to be the only one who's going to need a hospital. Hell, Stevie Ray's not going to be the only one who needs a hospital, because Book's going to need it 9 months early. Because after he's through with me, he's going to be lucky to ever walk again. Scott Steiner storms off. Sharmell, we know that's Booker T's girlfriend, but kayfabe-wise, we don't know that's Booker T's girlfriend. Hell, most fans probably wouldn't even know. But Sharmell a little disgusted there. I butchered that promo there, but pretty much towards the end, Scott Steiner is insinuating, the whole 9 months early, because she's pregnant 9 months down the road, she'll assumedly give birth. She could give it birth early. But nonetheless, it did lose heat for the storyline. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. As we're getting ready for our match, Shane McMahon joins the color commentary before the champion and challenger make their way down to the ring. I can imagine things a little tough on Shane here, of course. I imagine him even putting over on the color commentary team that he doesn't really know what to do, because Booker T's his brother. Booker T's, one of his best friends, but Scott Steiner's his world champion. He's the representative of his brand, so... Shane McMahon's just there to watch the match and see where it goes, I suppose. Or at least we hope. Main event time. It is the World Heavyweight Championship that's on the line. 81 solid B rating here. And a bout that had superb wrestling and great heat to it. Scott Steiner defeats Booker T in 17 minutes, 33 seconds by pinfall with the Frankensteiner, following interference from Shane McMahon. Are we surprised? Shane McMahon joins color commentary. Shane McMahon gets off the color commentary table, distracts Booker T. Booker maybe even hits Booker with the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know. Maybe that allows Scott to hit him with the Frankensteiner, or maybe Scott just goes ahead and pins Booker after that. 1, 2, 3, wins the World Heavyweight Championship, making his second defense of the World Heavyweight title. Nonetheless, though, not enough selling shown here tonight, plus a lack of psychology. I think I'm going to blame Scott Steiner for this. Booker T had an in-ring performance of an 87. Scott Steiner with an impressive 91. Unfortunately, 81 solid B for the match. That's not a bad match, but could have been better. Let's look at the dirt sheet, see what our negatives were. Apparently Booker T was holding back. Scott Steiner was holding back apparently as well. Inconsistency for Scott Steiner. Lack of selling. Lack of psychology. Low experience for the announce team. Those segments that brought down our storyline really affected it too. That sucks, because if we would have gotten probably a little better if our storyline was considered hot, I guess. Nonetheless, Shane McMahon has picked his side, and it is the side of Scott Steiner. He has stabbed his supposed brother in the back here tonight. As we move on to the next segment, where Shane McMahon still kind of shocked at what he has done. Steiner calling the shots, telling Shane to go grab him a chair as he continues the beat down on Booker T. And he then has Shane McMahon actually unfold the chair before forcing Booker T through the opening of the chair, and then locking Booker T in the Steiner recliner on the chair. Golly, that's got to hurt the back. He's just wrenching on Booker T. Booker T's screaming for help. Finally, paramedics come out. Shane McMahon is able to stop Scott Steiner, telling him, come on, that's enough, man. And Scott Steiner finally letting Booker T go. He hunches over on the chair. Paramedics are out there checking on Booker T, and they have to bring out a stretcher for the former World Heavyweight Champion, and it does seem like Scott Steiner kept his promise here tonight. It does seem like Booker T is going to the hospital as the show ends with the sight of Booker T being put into an ambulance. Scott Steiner came across well, as did Shane McMahon, and the storyline gained heat now, which I guess is good. 91 solid A rating. We end off the show, and we get ourselves a what? A 89 solid A rating here, increasing our popularity in one region. I mean, one region's enough. It's better than nothing. Nonetheless, though, pretty big episode of Nitro here tonight. New number one contenders have been determined. Lance Storm and Edge, the unexpected team of former enemies now turned partners, will be facing Chris Jericho and Christian in the future. Jerry Lynn, the new Cruiserweight champion, and now a fan favorite. Kanyon turned on Hugh Morris and is now, well, hated by the fans, I would presume. And Scott Steiner, still the World Heavyweight champion, and, well, sadly, it looks like Harlem Heat is spending the night in the hospital. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, don't forget to share this video with your friends, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Instagrams. I don't give a dams. Anybody you feel would enjoy my content, give them a share and help your homeboy get some new subscribers up in this bitch. And as always, my name has been OMG, WTF, LOTW, BRB. And I will see you guys in our next episode, which will be the Sunday Night Heat Super Show. Hopefully that'll be out this week. Those don't take too long to book. And then it will be SummerSlam. But until then, I will see you guys later. Have a good day, everyone. I can't even get my outro right. Have a good one, guys.